How does humility strengthen our relationships with others? Humility is one of the most important traits that builds lasting, healthy, and loving relationships. In contrast to pride, which often leads to conflicts and isolation, humility opens our hearts to others, allows us to build mutual understanding, and strengthens bonds. The Bible repeatedly emphasizes the value of humility in relationships, and psychology confirms its positive impact on our social lives. In the letter to the Philippians, Paul encourages, "Do nothing out of rivalry or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each of you should look not only to your own interests but also to the interests of others." Philippians chapter 2 verses 3-4. These words remind us that humility is an attitude that values the well-being of others equally with our own, building mutual respect and harmony. Jesus provides a perfect example of humility. In the Gospel of John, we read how Jesus, though he was Lord, washed the feet of his disciples, saying, "I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you." John chapter 13 verse 15. His example shows that true greatness is revealed in serving others, not in domination. Psychology highlights that humble individuals perform better in relationships because they are more empathetic, open to the opinions of others, and less prone to conflicts. Humility helps us avoid excessive self-focus and allows us to better understand the needs and feelings of others. How does humility strengthen relationships in practice? Firstly, it allows us to listen to others with attention and respect. In the letter of James, we read, "Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." James chapter 1 verse 19. The ability to listen is fundamental to understanding and building deep connections. Secondly, humility teaches us to admit our mistakes and ask for forgiveness. In the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, "Therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to your brother." Matthew chapter 5 verses 23-24. The willingness to reconcile builds mutual trust and strengthens relationships. Thirdly, humility helps avoid rivalry and comparisons. In the letter to the Galatians, Paul writes, "Let us not become conceited, provoking and envying each other." Galatians chapter 5 verse 26. Focusing on building rather than competing creates an atmosphere of cooperation and mutual support. Fourthly, humility allows us to forgive and forget grievances. In the letter to the Colossians, we read, "Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Colossians chapter 3 verse 13. Forgiveness frees us from the burden of anger and allows relationships to grow. Finally, humility leads us to love, which is the most important value in relationships. Jesus taught, "My command is this: love each other as I have loved you." John chapter 15 verse 12. Love, rooted in humility, creates the foundation for lasting and healthy relationships. Humility strengthens our relationships because it allows us to see others with love and respect, just as God sees us. It is an attitude that builds bridges, resolves conflicts, and brings peace. As the psalmist says, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Psalm chapter 34 verse 18. In humility, we discover the strength that transforms our relationships and leads us to a fuller life. May what you've heard bring you peace. Your friend greets you with gratitude.